friends, welcome again to Sands and Abbott, a conversation. Unfortunately, my partner Jay Sands, is unavailable today, but we're moving on because we had a great interview scheduled for today. So we'll be right back with our special guest in just a moment. Again, welcome in, my friends. This is Ernie in the big chair here on WEJA Radio with a show we call Sands and Abbott, a conversation. And today we were being joined by a very special guest, a gentleman living out in the western part of our country. He's actually a country artist. His name is Justin KANE, and we'd like to welcome Justin in here to WEJA Radio and to Sands and Abbott, a conversation. How are you, Justin?
Pretty good, boss man. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for joining us today. I appreciate your time. Appreciate it very much.
I'm glad to be a part of it.
Justin, just to give a little bit of background information, I had met you through another station. You were actually in the chat room during a show where they were playing some of your music over there on Music Road Radio, our friends over there. And we kind of touched base through the chat room, and I got some information from you, and I was particularly impressed with one of the songs they were playing that will feature a little bit later that you wrote. We could talk about that shortly. But again, I welcome you in here to WEJA Radio, and I thank you very much for your service, because Justin is also a veteran of the military service. We were just talking off air. You're a veteran of the Navy.
Yeah, that's correct. About 9.5 years in.
Very good. And can you discuss what you did in the Navy, Justin, a little bit?
I can discuss a little bit. I started off as a signalman, which is visual communication between ships, and then did a year and a half as a master at arms, and then I was in the IT world. We're doing radio communications.
Beautiful.
Served with Marines over in Iraq for a couple months, and then spent a lot of time out at sea.
Well, on behalf of America, I thank you very much for your service. I salute you for your service, and I commend you for your service. Thank you so very much. And I didn't realize.
Well, thank you very much. And right back at you for your 10 years, man.
Yeah. I spent 10 years in, and probably would have made a career out of it had things been a little bit different. But in any event, I've moved on with life, and I went into teaching and so forth. So that was rewarding as well. But again, great having you join us today. And I know you had sent me a text message or a email message, and you were talking about some of the things you're doing over and above your music, where you're actually going to be traveling out throughout the Nebraska and Colorado area, performing for folks in the VA facilities.
Yeah, Memorial Day is always kind of a harder time for me because I was always overseas during that time frame when I was in the Navy, and it's a reminder of all those who have sacrificed everything for us to be free.
Amen.
And I wanted to do something special for our veterans, and I decided to contact all the VA homes and hospitals in Nebraska, and also one in Denver. And we're going to be kind of going from place to place to place the week before Memorial Day.
I salute you for that. That's tremendous, man. That's what that's what I'm talking about. Giving back to the community, no matter what way. I always encourage people to do that, and I used to encourage my students to get involved in your community. You know, where you can lift people up and make someone's day, man. That's what it's all about in the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh yeah, the music's all about touching people and uplifting their lives.
And we were involved here on the radio station last year. We raised some funds for the Wounded Warrior Project, which I encourage everybody to at least check them out and consider donating to that worthwhile cause. They're a great organization helping veterans. There are many that are, as you know, Justin, falling through the cracks now with the VA system and the issues going on with the VA, you know, with treatment and so forth, and of those coming back. And you know, we won't
believe it or not, I actually deal a lot with the VA. I'm technically 40% disabled.
Right.
I have to go through a lot of VA clinic for my knees and other issues.
And it's not always an easy thing. I know, you know, they're kind of overwhelmed, I think, in many regards, with many of the service members returning from overseas, and some of the issues they're dealing with, the PTSD and so forth and so on, is a tough thing right now. And I know the Wounded Warrior Project is really helping to fill in the cracks. We don't need any veterans falling through the cracks as far as that goes. Everybody needs.
Oh yeah.
They need help.
Well, you mentioned PTSD, and Wounded Warrior is really good at helping people on that. But there's a program that started in England that America kind of adopted, and one of those organizations is called Pet for Vet. You ever heard of that?
Briefly, can you tell us a little bit about that, Justin? I've heard a little bit about it.
Well, what they do is they go out to shelters, animal shelters, dogs that have been abandoned or whatever. They train them up to be there for those who are suffering PTSD, and they train them to look for signs and cues, and they wake them up in a way that is not normal to a military experience.
Wow, that's awesome. That is awesome. Because I know dogs. We used to have, I used to do some work in the hospital volunteering. They used to have, dogs that would come into the rooms and visit the patients, and so forth and so on, and they would just light up, no matter what they were going through, and it kind of took them away from their problems at the moment in time, and gave them a little bit of, something else to think about, with these visiting pets.
Exactly.
So that's tremendous. That's a great program. I fully endorse that. That's tremendous stuff. And I think we have a big need for that right now. You're not only taking a dog out of a shelter, but you're also helping a veteran that needs some help. That's tremendous. I like that program, man. That's fantastic.
The old slogan, two birds with one stone.
Absolutely, without a doubt. That's a win-win situation all day long right there. That's tremendous. So there are programs out there to help those, but there's still many that are falling through the cracks that we need to take care of. The nation promised to take care of these folks when they return, no matter what kind of situation they're dealing with. And I think as a nation we have not lived up to that obligation in many ways, and I think we need to step it up, and we need to correct a lot of problems right now in the VA that are going on.
Well, there's a lot of problems throughout the whole U.S. People are taking it out on the wrong organizations and wrong other people.
Right, absolutely. I agree with that.
And just our veterans sacrifice and give up so much just to be, for lack of a better word, spit on.
And it's to me, it's not about the war; it's about the warrior.
Exactly. I kind of had a little rant on my Facebook today. I got tired of seeing all these videos of people stepping on our flag. I finally decided, I need to say something about this. And I went through and I told what a flag actually means to a veteran.
Oh,
and I just write about all the wars that we have been involved with since the Revolutionary War to now. And totaled up the death toll since then is over 1.3 million people who have died fighting for our country.
Absolutely, without a doubt. Got
to give it a reference. That's not the size of San Diego.
I got all the stats right here in front of me because I'm getting ready to do a special program on Memorial Day to honor those that have given the ultimate sacrifice to our country and their families, I might say, who are involved.
Amen to that.
And, I have all the stats here for the number of people that served during the various conflicts we've been involved with, the number of killed and wounded, and the numbers are staggering. And, it's a thing where, I talked many times about back at Fort McHenry when it was being bombarded by the British during the Revolutionary War times.
Mm-hmm.
And Francis Scott Key wrote the great national anthem. And, the repeated shots at this flag flying over the fort, and the commanding admiral of the British Navy, they had the entire Navy there firing on this site, said that if you just take down that flag, we will stop our firing. But they never did. They never did take down the flag. And when he went into that fort to see what happened to that flag as it was standing on off kilter, he saw the bodies of patriots. When one patriot would die, another would take his place, holding up that flag, because they knew what it meant for that flag to fall.
Exactly.
And I agree with you 100% on that, Justin. And
yeah, people are trying to associate the flag with the corrupted politicians and corrupted police force, and not all the police are bad. I mean, it's just you individuals that make bad choices.
Exactly.
And
no doubt
and they try to blame all of them. And people are so hatred of an organization, and they have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah, I
and
agree.
Stepping on our flag isn't showing anything disrespect to those people. Some disrespect for all of the service members who fight for their freedom to do that.
Absolutely. I harken back to, I think maybe we should go back to some kind of mandatory service to your country, maybe like 1 or 2 years, where everybody serves, not only, in some capacity, in some way of shape or form, to serve your fellow countrymen here in the United States, to help your fellow countrymen, no matter what it is, whether it's joining the military or being involved in a civilian organization that works with the community. I think we need to get back to that kind of thing. You remember after 9/11, when those buildings went down, how everybody had their shirts, "We won't be tread on," we're united we stand, and all those kind of things, those feelings of patriotism and love of country, and being able to support your fellow Americans and lifting your fellow Americans up instead of putting down. You remember those feelings?
Exactly.
We need to carry that on all the time, not just when we have some horrific situation going on in our nation.
It shouldn't take somebody else attacking you in the United States for us to stand together.
Amen to that, man. Amen to that. And we've gotten so far away from that. And in many regards, it's not like World War II when the whole nation was involved in the war effort. Not if we were overseas fighting, or you're back here working in a factory, or whatever the case might be. Well, nowadays, people, unless you have somebody from your family in the military, or somebody or a friend, you're kind of disassociated from what's actually going on over in Afghanistan and Iraq and so forth. You know what I'm saying? Did you get that feeling?
Oh, yeah. And people that just assume what they see on TV or the internet is correct.
Right.
But unless you know somebody's been there and seen what's actually taking place, you're kind of clueless.
That is so true. The media definitely has their biases and their leanings one way or the other. And many times you're only getting their slant on a particular situation, as opposed to the, just the news and just reporting the news as it is, without any political commentary or leanings, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
But in any regard, people say that this generation is all about I and me and, what have you done for me lately? But I'll tell you, there are many great Americans that are stepping up in our nation and defending our freedoms across the world, and I salute them all. And there are many, 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 and all you hear is many times in the news, as Justin, is the negative side of stories and so forth. But there are many amazing people doing amazing things in the name of our country, and in honor of our country, and in the service of our country. And I salute this generation. I do. They are stepping up big time. No matter what you think personally about what we're getting involved with, the warriors and the folks that are out there representing America are tremendous. And I tip my hat to each and every one of them.
Oh, yeah. And that's the sad thing, is that there's so many great organizations, so many different people that are involved with helping our country, but yet they don't get any notification. It's all the negativity ones, like people stopping on flags, or the racial struggles that have been going on in the South. You look at the military, I can look at a Filipino, or Latino, a black man, a white man. I don't see color. I see my brother or my sister.
That's it, man. That's it. You got each other's back, and that's so true. You have that feeling of, they are your brother. You don't care when the stuff is hitting the fan. You don't care what what ethnic group or what religion that person belongs to. They're your brother. They're beside you, and you're helping each other, and you're picking each other up and covering each other's back, man. And that's what it's all about.
Exactly.
That leads into, I think,